Welcome to the last presentation in Skills in Algebra, and this is part 3, and we're going to look at how algebra can be useful in everyday life. This is on formulas and practical problems. Hey, what are these guys doing here? Playing volleyball? Hey, what's algebra got to do with volleyball, mate? We'll have to check that out. So here we have a formula which is trying to describe the cost of hiring the court and playing for a number of hours of volleyball. Let's come down and let's analyse this mathematically. They say we've got this sort of a cost equation. So what's it saying to us? Well, if you play for a certain number of hours, you have to times that by 8. Just remember that 8h means 8 times h in algebra land. And then we add $3. That could be a booking fee or something for the court. So if we want to work out the cost for 1 hour, we put h is 1 in the h part of the formula there, and then multiply it by 8 and add 3, $11. And just remember, h is a prime numeral. It stands for different numbers. So here, for 2.5 hours, we put h is 2.5 into the formula. So it's 8 times 2.5 plus 3 is $23. Do you get the idea? A formula can describe a pattern like we've seen before, and we can use it to work out costs and stuff in everyday life. So come down and let's have a look at some exercises where I want you to do just that. So these clippings are from Hayes and Harris Publications. So it'd be good to have that book handy by there. So have a look here, cost of hiring a bus. Some basic cost is $80, and then it's $12 for every person. Just remember 12p equals 12 times p. So be careful there. So go through, and here's a bakery problem. We're trying to work out when all the rolls will run out. The number of bread rolls left after 8 hours in a bakery, so you could estimate when you're going to run out on a usual day. Okay, that sort of thing. Interesting stuff, isn't it? So come down, pause it now and have a go. As you do a problem, toggle forward on the video and have a look at the answer, or check it in the book. And I'm going to show you the answers now, so pause it and then come and look at the answers. So here we go, the answers to all those. I hope you had a bit of success with those. You might check with your teacher and classmates if you weren't sure. Okay, let's move on and see if we can find some other uses of algebra. Here's a practical problem for you. We've got this dude loading up a pallet, and it looks like those boxes are pretty heavy. He's stacking boxes. Milan is stacking boxes containing the latest release of a crime novel onto a wooden pallet to take to a bookshop. Now, how heavy can you make the pallet? Because it's going to be lifted by a forklift, putting forks in there, a machine that lifts. Okay, and you can have it by hand, or you can have it operated by machinery to lift that pallet. We've got to know, is it too heavy? So we have to work out the total weight of the pallet and look at the specifications of the forklift to see if it will lift it. The pallet weighs 20 kilograms and each box weighs 12. Let's see if we can work out a formula for the total weight. Okay, so here was what we might do. I might let C be the number of cartons and W be the weight. So with no cartons, you've still got the weight of the pallet, which is 20 kilograms. 1 carton, you've got that plus a carton of books, which is 12 kilograms, so that goes 32. If you've got 2 cartons, that's another 12 kilograms, 44. Constant adder here. So you might already be able to see the formula. The total weight is the number of cartons times 12. Remember, 12C equals 12 times C plus 20 kilograms. Okay, which is the basic weight of the pallet. Okay, so that's our formula to get to the weight of any number of cartons down here somewhere. That's handy, isn't it? We don't want to have to do all this addition all the time. Go straight to it. What would, if we put 20 cartons on, if C was 20, what would that come to? Okay, so we can work out the number of cartons to reach a certain weight. Well, that'd be interesting. All right, come down and let's have a look at another example and see what you think. So here is a more practical one. Peter is a plumber. He charges $50 call out and $40 for each hour spent working. what will T hours of labour cost, and find the total charge. And then once you've got your working formula, try to work out the cost for a particular job. Okay, 1 hour costs $40. 2 hours would be 2 times 40, would be 80. T hours would be T times 40. And we put the number in front. And remember that this means 40 lots of T, or T 40 times T. So what's our formula? The total charge is the cost of labour, which is 40 times T plus 50. So now we can use our formula in a practical sense. So we get the total cost for a 5-hour job is 40 times 5 plus 50, a total charge. 3.5-hour job, 40 times 3.5 plus 50. Get the idea? Quite a handy way, if people aren't mathematically inclined, for you to explain to them how much it's going to cost. Later on in maths, you'll learn how to put that on a spreadsheet, and you can just look up the answers. Let the spreadsheet work it out for you. Okay, come down and let's have a look at some problems now. So I want you to pause the presentation here at 1 and 2 and have a go. You have to introduce P and C to stand for the variables, the things that are varying in each problem. And I want you to pause the presentation, have a go at 1 and 2, or just question 1, and then maybe toggle forward to the answers down below. Don't do a lot of problems and find they're all wrong. Check as you go. So there's 1 and 2. I'll show you now questions 3, 4 and 5. I've got this one down here asterisked already because this is a fairly hard one. I have to talk to your teacher about that one, or with your classmates as well. And right on the end, I'm going to give you a little challenge problem. So pause it for these, and now I'm going to show you the answers. Okay, so here are the answers now. Okay, just check down here for that red one. Okay, how are you going? Hope you've got a few right there. Now come down, I want to give you a challenge problem and see what you can do with it. Just come down here. So I'm going to make it a challenge problem with a plumber like before, but a little bit more practical, because what they usually do is have about a $60 call out fee, and that includes the first quarter of an hour. Okay, quarter of an hour. So this is a bit harder because you want the cost in dollars, and you've got, let's say, T hours. Okay, but the thing is, the first quarter of an hour has to be taken off, and then for each quarter of an hour, the charge is $25. Okay, now this is harder. Can you see you've got to work in quarter of an hours? So you can't work with T hours, that's got to be changed to how many quarter of an hours. And then one of them taken away because that's included in your $60. Got any ideas? All right, I want you to pause the presentation and see if you can work out the answer. Okay, here I go. I'm going to help you now. Let's get rid of that one. And here we're going to say the cost is, well, first of all, let's put the 60 first, get that out of the way. You've got to pay that. Plus, now what we want is the number of quarter of an hours times by $25. But there's a problem with this, isn't there? You get 1/4, the first quarter, let's put it that way, is in the $60. So you don't have to pay any more for that. And this is more practical, this is what they do. So the cost is $60. Now let's work out the number of quarter of an hours. If you've got T hours, how many quarters are there? Well, hang on. 1 hour, let's put this here, 1 hour equals 4 quarters. So therefore T hours would equal 4 times T. There's 4 quarters in every hour. 4 times T quarters. Now, hang on, the first hour is in the $60, so we won't be charged for that. See what I'm doing? I'm working out here the total number of quarter of hours for which you'd be charged. Okay, and then for those we have to be charged $25. So our overall formula now, come down here a little bit more, our overall formula would be get the number of hours T, make them into quarters, take off 1 because the first quarter is not charged, then we would times by 25, so we really should put this in front. That's what we do in maths. Okay, and then we've also got the 60. So this is all in dollars. That's quite hard, isn't it? You to work out the number of quarter of hours for which you would be charged. There are a couple of other ways of doing it, but I think that is the logical way you might come to at the end there. So let's see if we can use it. So let's say the job takes 2.5 hours. 2.5 hours. So the cost would be, now the $25 is how many quarter of an hours are there in 2.5, multiply it by 4, that's 9 quarter hours. 4 in each of the two, and the half has got 2 as well there. So here we've got, oops, I've multiplied 2.5 by 4, sorry, I've made a mistake, it's 10, isn't it? 4 times 2.5 is 10 quarter of an hours, right? But one of them isn't charged, that's in the call out fee, so we've got that. So we're going to multiply our time by 4, because in any hour there are 4 quarters, and therefore it's going to be 25 times 9 plus 60. Okay, if you do that, you might have to do that on a calculator. This is 225 plus 60. This is going to be an expensive job. It's $285. So get the idea. That's a harder problem. Well, I hope you're following that quite well. And as you go on with your maths career, you'll see algebra can be used very nicely to analyse quite complicated problems and puzzles. All right, well, I'll catch you in a further presentation. Cheers for now.